Tricky Quiz 21. True or false? Christopher Columbus was seeking to prove the Earth was round. Turns out I found out in school that's just wrong. It's Henry Drake. They were trying to get him out of the curriculum because, anti-British sentiment at one time. It was actually Eratosthenes, back before the Christian era, figures out the size of it by putting sticks in the ground. Alexandria and near a place near what we call Aswan. Question 2. What were former North American car brands? The ones since World War II. There were some 20 of them and half dozen Canadian brands as well. Let's take a look here at our used car lot. Well, here's a mid-50s Pontiac. I think it's a 52, 53 Studebaker. One of my faves, a 57 DeSoto, a real beauty. This Hudson was probably one of the fastest cars made. Here's a Studebaker. My dad had one of these. Here's a rare 1960 last production model of an Edsel. Here's a Kaiser and a Nash. And finally, let's take a look at some of those Canadian Ford brands, which were the Meteor for the Ford and Monarch for the Mercury. I always thought they were better looking. Okay, third question for you editors and grammarians. What are those 3 dots called, for missing something, and the and sign? Well, the 3 periods in a row, sometimes double-spaced, is called an ellipsis. It's for when you omit something. And the ampersand really comes from the Latin written shorthand for the Latin word et, meaning and. By the way, while we're at it, you have brackets and parentheses and curly brackets, and there's a proper order how to use those. Sometimes people should note that quotation marks are single if internal for a second quote, but that's a bit different if you're in England. It's reversed. Well, how does one convert acres to square miles? This comes up recently in the news with all that fire coverage. Turns out there's a shortcut. Well, I've had more than one person ask how I did that so fast. Formally, it's acres divided by 640. Or a shortcut is take the acres, drop the last 3 zeros, just as thousands if you will, multiply times 1.6. Here's an example. 10,000 acres, drop the 1,000, you got times 1.6, 16 square miles. Well, square root of that's 4. It's about probably 4 miles across. Okay, our final question's a flag question. Is there a country's flag that has a crescent, there's the theme here, but no stars? Well, I found a dozen of them. You got Algeria, Pakistan, Mauritania, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan. Oh, look at that one. That's the Maldives. The one in the center left is the Turkish version for Cyprus and Turkey and Tunisia, Libya.